Ezra, Reviyiy, 4th Ezra, also known as the Apocalypse of Ezra, also known as 2nd Esdras, chapter 7. When I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the Malach, angel, which had been sent unto me the nights afore. And he said unto me, Up, Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell you. And I said, Speak on, my Elohim. Then he unto me said, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case that the entrance was narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is built and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. And there is but one path between them, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? And I said, It is so, Master. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Yasharal's portion, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now therefore, why disquiet yourself, seeing you are but a corruptible man? And why are you moved, whereas you are but mortal? Why have you not considered in your mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Yahweh Elohim, you have ordained in your Torah that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the wicked should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and trust for wide. They that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above Elohim, and none that has understanding above Elyon. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the Torah of Elohim that is set before them. For Elohim has given straight commandment to such as came, when they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to do, what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spoke against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of Elohim that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his Torah they have despised, and denied his covenants. In his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Ezra, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told you shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son Mashiach die, and all men that have life, and the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days the world that yet wakens not shall be raised up, and that shall die in that is corrupt, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust that those that dwell in silence. And the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them, and Al-Hayim shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain. Truth shall stand, and Amunah, faith, shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest, and the furnace of Sheol, hell, shall be disclosed, and the opposite it the paradise of delight. Then Al-Yan will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, look now and understand whom ye have denied, whom ye have not served, whose commandments ye have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, or cloud or thunder or lightning or wind or water or air or darkness or evening or morning or summer or spring or heat or winter or frost or cold or hail or rain or dew or night or noon or night or dawn or shining of brightness of light, but only the splendor of the kavod, glory of Al-Yan, by which all shall see what has been determined for them, for it will last about a week of years. This is my judgment and its prescribed order, and to you alone have I shown these things. I answered and said, O Yahweh Sebaoth of hosts. I said then, and I say now, blessed are those who are alive and guard your commandments. But what of those for whom I prayed? For whom among the living is there that has not sinned, or who among men that has not transgressed your covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from Al-Hayim, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life, and that not just a few of us, but almost all who have been created. He answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you, and will admonish you yet again. For this reason, Alhaim has made not one world, but two. For whereas you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the wicked abound. Hear the explanation for this. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add them lead and clay? And I said, Yahweh, how could that be? And he said to me, not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Defer to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, you produce gold and silver and brass, and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant or those that are rare. I said, O Yahweh Sebaoth, what is plentiful is of less worth, for what is more rare is more precious. He answered me and said, weigh within yourself what you have thought, for he who has what is hard to get rejoices more than he who has what is plentiful. So also will be the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over the few who shall be saved, because it is they who have made my kavod, glory, to prevail now, and through them my name has now been honored. And I will not grieve over the multitude of those who perish, for it is they who are now like a mist, and are similar to a flame and smoke. They are set on fire and burn hotly, and are extinguished. I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth? If the mind is made out of the dust like the other created things. For it would have been better if the dust itself had not been born, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tormented, because we perish and know it. Let mankind lament, but let the beasts of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the four-footed beasts and the flocks rejoice. For it is much better with them than with us. For they do not look for a judgment, nor do they know of any torment or Yeshua, salvation, promised to them after death. For what does it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but cruelly tormented? For all who have been born are involved in iniquities, and are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if we were not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it would have been better for us. He answered me and said, when Al-Yon made the world, and Adam, and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to the judgment. And now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who dwell on earth shall be tormented, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity, and though they received the commandments, they did not guard them. And though they obtained the Torah, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. What then will they have to say in the judgment? Or how will they answer in the last times? For how long the time is that Al-Yon has been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sake, but because of the times which he has foreordained. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O Yahweh, show this also to your servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up his soul we shall be kept in rest until those times come when you will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not be associated with those who have shown scorn, nor number yourself among those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works laid up with Al-Elyon, but it will not be shown to you until the last times. Now concerning death, the teaching is when the decisive decree has gone forth from Al-Elyon that a man shall die, as the Ruach spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it. First of all, it adores the kavod, glory of Al-Elyon, and if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not guarded the way of Al-Elyon, and who have despised his Torah, and who have hated those who fear Elohim, such Ruachoth spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. The first way, because they have scorned the Torah of Al-Elyon. The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance that they may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of Al-Elyon. The fourth way, they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by Malachim, angels, in profound quiet. The sixth way, they shall see how some of them will pass over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory kavod of Al-Elyon, before whom they sinned while they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged in the last times. Now this is the order of those who have guarded the ways of Al-Elyon, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served Al-Elyon and withstood danger every hour, that they might guard the Torah of the Torah giver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the kavod, glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought which was formed with them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the wicked wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, that they see the witness which he formed them bears concerning them, that while they were alive they guarded the Torah which was given them in trust. The fourth order, they understand the rest which they now enjoy, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by Malachim, angels, in profound quiet, and the kavod, glory, which awaits them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And besides, they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty which they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they hasten to behold the face of him whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced, and the aforesaid are the ways of torment which those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. I answered and said, Will time therefore be given to the souls after they have been separated from the bodies, to see what you have described to me? He said to me, They shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered in their habitations. I answered and said, If I have found favor in your sight, show further to me your servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be able to intercede for the wicked, or to pray to Al-Yon for them, fathers for sons, or sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their kinsmen, or friends for those who are most dear. And he answered me and said, Since you have found favor in my sight, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is decisive, and displays to all the seal of truth. Just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be ill or sleep or eat or be healed in his place, so no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall anyone lay a burden on another. For then everyone shall bear his own righteousness and unrighteousness. Then said I, Abraham prayed for the inhabitants of Sedom, and Moshe for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness, and Yahusha after him for Yasharal in the time of Achan, and Shemuel and Dawid for the destruction, and Shalomah for them that should come to the sanctuary, and Eliyahu for those that received rain, and for the dead, that he might live, and Ezekiel for the people in the time of Chansheriv, and many for many. Even so, now seeing corruption is grown up, and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the wicked. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? He answered me and said, This present life is not the end, where much kavod, glory, abides. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality to come, wherein corruption is past, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that has gotten the victory. I answered then and said, This is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else, when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? O Adam, what have you done? For though it was you that sinned, you are not fallen alone, but we all that come of you. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of Al-Ayon is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be shown a paradise whose fruit endures forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it, for we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then he answered me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as you have said, but if he gets the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. For this is the life whereof Moshe spoke unto the people while he lived, saying, Choose life, that you may live. Nevertheless, they believed not him, nor yet the prophets after him, nor me, which have spoken unto them, that there should not be such heaviness in their destruction, as shall be joy over them that are persuaded to Yeshua salvation. I answered then and said, I know, Yahweh, that Al-Ayon is called merciful, in that he has mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world, and upon those that turn to his Torah, and that those also that turn to his Torah, and that he is patient and long suffers those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needs, and he that is of great and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplies more and more mercies to them that are present and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world would not continue with them that inherit therein. And he pardons, for if he did not so of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them, the 10,000th part of men should not remain living. And being judge, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions, there should be very few left, perchance, in an innumerable multitude. Chapter 8. And he answered me, saying, Al-Ayon has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell you a similitude, Ezra, as when you ask the earth, it shall say unto you that it gives much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold comes of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. So answered I and said, Swallow then down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom. For you have agreed to give ear, and are willing to prophesy, for you have no longer space than only to live. O Yahweh, if you suffer not your servant, that we may pray before you, and you give us seed unto our heart, and culture to our understanding, that there may come fruit of it. How shall each man live that is corrupt, who bears the place of a man? For you are alone, and we are all one workmanship of your hands, like as you have said. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and you give it members, your creature is preserved in fire and water. And 9 months your workmanship endures your creature, which is created in her. But that which keeps and is kept shall both be preserved. And when the time comes, the womb preserved delivers up the things that grew in it. For you have commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breasts, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breasts, that the thing which is fashioned may be nourished for a time, till you dispose it to your mercy. You brought it up with your righteousness, and nurtured it in your Torah, and reformed it with your judgment. And you shall mortify it as your creature, and quicken it as your work. If therefore you shall destroy him with which so great labor was fashioned, it is an easy thing to be ordained by your commandment, that the thing which was made might be preserved. Now therefore, Yahweh, I will speak touching man in general. You know best, but touching your people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for your inheritance, for whose cause I mourn, and for Yasharal, for whom I am heavy, and for Yaakov, for whose sake I am troubled. Therefore will I begin to pray before you for myself and for them, for I see the falls of us that dwell in the land. But I have heard the swiftness of the judge which is to come. Therefore hear my voice and understand my words, and I shall speak before you. This is the beginning of the words of Ezra, before he was taken up. And I said, O Yahweh, you that dwell in everlastingness, which behold from above things in the Shamayim, heaven, and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, whose kavod, glory, may not be comprehended, before whom the hosts of Malachim, angels, stand with trembling, whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong and ordinance fearful, whose look dries up the depths, and indignation makes the mountains to melt away, which the truth witnesses. Oh, hear the prayer of your servant, and give ear to the petition of your creature. For while I live, I will speak, and so long as I have understanding will I answer. O look not upon the sins of your people, but on them which serve you in truth. Regard not the wicked intentions of the heathen, but the desire of those that guard your testimonies in afflictions. Think not upon those that have walked vainly before you, but remember them which according to your will have known your fear. Let it not be your will to destroy them which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them that have clearly taught your Torah. Take no indignation at them which are deemed worse than beasts, but love them that always put their trust in your righteousness and kavod, glory. For we and our fathers do languish of such diseases, but because of us, sinners, you shall be called merciful. For if you have a desire to have mercy upon us, you shall be called merciful to us, namely, that have no works of unrighteousness, For the just, which have many good works laid up with you, shall out of their own deeds receive reward. For what is man that you should take displeasure at him? Or what is a corruptible generation that you should be so bitter toward it? For in truth there is no man among them that be born, but he has dealt wickedly. Among the faithful there is none which has not done amiss. For in this, O Yahweh, your righteousness and your goodness shall be declared, if you be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works. Then answered he me, and said, Some things have you spoken aright, and according to your words it shall be. For indeed I will not think on the disposition of them which have sinned before death, before judgment, before destruction. But I will rejoice over the disposition of the righteous, and I will remember also their pilgrimage, and the Yeshua salvation, and the reward that they shall have. Like as I have spoken now, so shall it come to pass. For as the husbandman sows much seed upon the ground, and plants many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season comes not up, neither does all that is planted take root. Even so is it of them that are sown in the world. They shall not all be saved. I answered then and said, If I have found grace, let me speak. Like as the husbandman's seed perishes, if it come not up, and receive not your rain in due season, or if there come too much rain and corrupt it, even so perishes man also, which is formed with your hands, and is called your own image, because you are like unto him, for whose sake you have made all things, and likened him unto the husbandman's seed. Be not wroth with us, but spare your people, and have mercy upon your own inheritance, for you are merciful unto your creature. Then answered he me, and said, Things present are for the present, and things to come for such as be to come. For you come far short that you should be able to love my creature more than I. But I have oftentimes drawn nigh unto you, and unto it, but never to the unrighteousness. In this also you are marvelous before Al-Yan, in that you have humbled yourself as it becomes you, and have not judged yourself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand for yourself, and seek out the kavod, glory for such as be like you. For unto you is paradise opened, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is built, and is rest allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness, and the moth is hidden from you, and corruption is fled into Sheol, hell, to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end is showed the treasure of immortality. And therefore ask no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they had taken liberty, they despised Al-Yan, thought scorn of his Torah, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no Elohim, yea, and that knowing they must die. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be creative have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. And therefore it is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto you, and a few like you. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Yahweh, now have you showed me the multitude of the wonders which you will begin to do in the last times. But at what time have you not showed me?